First, we start with this story. The army will now be assisting the police until at least March. President Cyril Ramaphosa has authorised extending the army's deployment in a letter to Parliament. 2,700 soldiers have been called in to bolster law enforcement around the country, including parts of gang-ridden Cape Flats. Well, does the military presence actually make the streets safer? Ronald Masinda is on the Cape Flats right now, speaking to those affected by gang violence to find out. Ronald, thank you so much for crossing to us this morning. Ronnie, what kind of response are you getting from people living in the areas affected by gang violence on whether the military is helping, especially over the festive season, which is particularly high in terms of gang violence and children being out in the streets and being at risk?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Annika. We are live from Manningburg. We are in the middle of gangland. I mean, quite a number of gangs this is their territory, and we've been hearing a lot of stories about the deadly shootings, not only throughout the festive season, but also a discovery of a teenager's body that was discovered yesterday inside a bin. I mean, this has become the norm for residents, and people are calling for positive change. Whether that will come if there is more army deployment in this area remains to be seen. But just for more on what has been happening on the ground, I am joined by Amina Abrams. She's one of the community leaders. Amina, thank you so much for your time. I mean, let's just start off with the discovery of yesterday and talk to us about what people have seen and what they know about this.
Well, good morning, everyone. It was a shock for us to see that we found a body in a bin, in a black bin. Last week we've also heard about a body that was found in a bin. This for me was actually shocking because of the abuse that women are going through. And I mean, it's like they have no mercy or whatever. I think that we are all human beings, and how could a person be so cruel to stab and trying to chop up a woman just like that? So from hearsay, from what I've heard on the grounds, is that this person was found in a bin and her hands was showed up like this. Then the person took the bin down the road and shouted to one of the people, "There's someone in," and he left. This is totally not on. We as women fear in our community because we don't know if we are safe. People come before you innocent, but we don't know what the consequences really are. Even myself, I've got boys, young ones. When they walk at night, I basically fear because anything can happen. It's innocent people that are now being taken. And for me, the perpetrator should be taken into justice. They must basically go, and he must stand for what he did, because how many more can he do out there? Every other person, I mean, my child is your child, and in this community we need to look out for each other. But there's somehow a way where they get and find and just kill women around here. So it's very sad for me, and I honestly think that justice needs to be served, you know.
I mean, before I let you go, we do know that, in some areas the Army's presence was lauded when the Army came here in 2019, and then that period was extended to around March 2020. Did it make much of a difference? Do you want to see the Army here? Because we are also seeing very little policing presence.
You are right, we do see very little police in presence, but for me, I don't think that the Army will do any difference here, because they were here in 2019. Killings still happened and gang violence still went on. I think we need more support from government to show us that they really care for us. When they know of someone that has been murdered and the person comes forward, they must walk with that person. And even so, the other fear that people have is because when they do a witness thingy, there is no witness protection for them, and that gives the perpetrators to do whatever they want to do. The Army came here, but most of the innocent people were changed. They were cross-questioned, people's houses were broken into, but the actual person that are doing the stuff gets free, and then the gangsters or the abuse just go on and on and on.
I mean, let's leave it there. You made a very important point, Roshana. I'm going to bring you into the conversation because the point about the issue of people being witnesses to this crime, and some of them feel like they are victimized when they are witnesses. You're one of them. Tell us a bit about your own story.
So yes, I was a witness. I witnessed a brutal assault that resulted in a murder, and I stepped up and I testified in the court. The sadness of it all, I have become a victim of the system that are not really there for our people. The gang leader I testified against and his co-accused were released. Up till today, I don't know what his conditions were. After they have shot through my whole house, I'm not able to live. Me and my family had to leave our house immediately. The safety protection that the state offers is only until you finish testifying, then you're on your own. So by the grace, I have been protected by an international organization, the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. And if it were not for them for the last 3 years, I'm unable to live in Manenberg as such. And the state does not help you. I had to fight to get my children back into school. My children had to fight to find their feet again. For the first time, they have found contract work. And so, yes, it frightens the people to step up and speak up because the state are not protecting them. The police are not protecting them. And last week, like Amina said, another murder took place. Again, it was up to the gang to solve the problem because it retaliates in gang violence amongst each other. And on Friday there was a shooting where one of the perpetrators that killed that one person in the bin was murdered. So that is the reality. But with it comes, I think, positive things. A lot of positive came through the journey. I've met a lot of people. And I could advocate more and more for our people on the Cape Flats. One of the things that came is that I'm a finalist in the American Senate's Bravery Award for women that take a stance against violence that's happening in March month. And so I want to motivate people, yes, together we can do it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for your time. We've run out of time. There's so much to unpack. Annika, that's a story on the ground from people from Manenberg. We have to leave it for now.